Today we're turning the tables. Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 America's Next Top Model judges.
Amanda is fierce in a photo, but she is not fabulous in person.
For this list, we're looking at the judges who entertained us, made us laugh out loud, and got us to reflect on what it really takes to be America's Next Top Model. We're excluding those who weren't full-time judges, even if they gave good critiques like Jay Manuel.
You need to trust in your beauty. We've talked about this. Even standing right now, you're taking very harsh criticism for us, and you're handling this, which I think is a higher pressure situation, much better than you handled that show.
If you like what you're hearing, be sure to check out the full song at the link below. Number 10, Twiggy.
I love Carrie D. She makes me laugh, but she is a bit of a loose cannon. Melrose was amazing on that runway last night. Carrie D was...
Having this English cultural icon on the show added a massive boost of credibility to the panel. After being a significant part of the fashion world for decades, Twiggy had the industry knowledge necessary and kept things professional for the most part, although she could call a girl out when she felt it necessary to do so.
It's quite interesting that you were given cactus, which is quite prickly because...
I get one thing straight. I don't have a prickly disposition.
You don't?
No, I do not.
Some may have felt that she was a little bit bland, but at the end of the day, the show is about cultivating the next great model. Sometimes you need an easygoing judge to balance out the more critical and dramatic members of the panel.
Kathleen, I do worry about Kathleen. You kind of want to take Kathleen home and look after her.
I don't.
Number 9, Drew Elliot.
I mean, wow. I think you look more beautiful without makeup, and I think you've really used your body and the hands and the extension.
Drew might be a recent addition to the panel, but he's a seasoned professional within the fashion industry. As the former chief creative officer of Paper magazine, it goes without saying that Drew has extensive knowledge of high fashion and knows what it takes for a model to create a memorable photo.
Paper magazine is known for taking A-list celebrities and transforming them. We've done that with Bella Hadid, with Paris Hilton, and even with Rihanna.
It seems like he has a good grasp on what's in right now, and has a keen eye for discerning which girls have the look and talent necessary to make it. We're excited to see what he'll bring to the panel in upcoming cycles.
I have to say, you have a unique ability to bring clothes to life. You bring so much motion and emotion to something that could fall very, very flat.
Thank you.
Number 8, Kelly Catrone.
We have a new judge. Her name is Kelly Catrone.
Kelly remains a controversial judge among viewers. Many questioned what business a publicist had doing on a fashion-centric show, but modeling has a lot to do with one's public image, which Kelly sure knows a thing or two about. Granted, there were some times when Kelly was brutally blunt to a fault and borderline rude, like when she needlessly argued with Louise in Cycle 18.
Because I was coming to Michael.
You have to run though in that set. You just watch your energy. You don't have to run. You just walk.
I think my energy's fine.
However, Kelly also had her moments. We don't always want a judge to tiptoe around the subject, and Kelly's bluntness could be refreshing, not to mention hilarious.
Okay, I'm just gonna say something.
Kelly, please say
I
it.
hope my daughter never comes home with a guy like him. There's something wrong with him.
Number 7, Ashley Graham.
If she were to be crowned America's Next Top Model, could she transform it into something big that we could all be proud of her for? I hope so.
Out of the new cohort of judges, Ashley seems to be the fan favorite. The newer seasons devote less time to deliberation, and we don't get as much commentary from the judges overall, but from what we've seen, Ashley's background as a top model has prepared her well.
There's a method to figuring out what your natural is in the camera. Like, I had to figure out how to not model. I was the girl, the catalog queen. Hey, I'm flipping the hair. Yeah.
Ashley's able to relate to the girls and their experiences, which means that her advice is usually pretty spot on and relevant. Her comforting and supportive presence also makes her more approachable to the girls, and as a result, we get to see a different side to a lot of the contestants.
I'm using my body to break a barrier, and the bigger message for me is to let women who look like me know that they are beautiful and that they don't have to be over-sexualized to be beautiful. You know what? Tell your story.
Number 6, Nigel Barker. As a noted fashion photographer with a background behind the camera lens, Nigel really brought a different perspective to the judges' panel.
I like this shot a lot. I like the look in your face. There's a strength there. You've dealt with the sun nicely because although you're not looking directly into the camera, you're not also blinded by the light.
He was often the much-needed middle ground and always remained level-headed. He might not have been as entertaining or wild as his colleagues, but he gave out a lot of constructive criticism. And at the end of the day, isn't that what being a judge is all about?
Come on now. Strong. Sometimes the fear can work. That's what I'm talking about. You've got to channel whatever's going on. So if you're terrified, use the terror. Show it in your face and give me something.
His long tenure on America's Next Top Model made it feel as though he was pretty much a permanent fixture on the panel. And to this day, he remains synonymous with the show. Number 5. Janice Dickinson. The self-proclaimed first supermodel was loud, opinionated, and not afraid to let it all out.
It looks like you landed from another planet because you have so much teeth. The teeth thing, you gotta kind of really work on that breaking into the big grin thing.
It seemed that Janice was practically made for reality television. Although her comments were often needlessly blunt and her tastes only accepted a very narrow beauty standard, they also, unfortunately, seemed to reflect the critical nature of the fashion industry at the time.
Little weak. The car looks better than she does. If the body could just slim down 150 pounds, that would be good.
Then she'd be 30 pounds.
That would be better.
Overall, Janice perfectly encompassed the essence of early America's Next Top Model in that she was a bit rough around the edges and messy, but incredibly raw and entertaining.
And the man certainly looks like a man in this picture. Woohoo!
Number 4. Paulina Porro.
Oh my God, she makes me laugh a lot, but not for the right reason.
Paulina's time on America's Next Top Model came after both Twiggy's and Janice's, and she managed to capture the best of both their judging styles. Paulina was deadpan, funny, and blunt like Janice, while maintaining some of Twiggy's professionalism.
Sam has had some of the most consistently good pictures all across the board.
She also had a good rapport with the other judges, and it was always entertaining to watch her reactions to certain shots. Unfortunately, we only got to see her for cycles 10 to 12, so compared to more seasoned panelists, we never got to experience the full extent of her skills as a judge.
If she's feeling the favela, she should be more happy. That's a lot of happiness in favela, so I believe that's no energy here.
Number 3. Andre Leon Talley.
I really was engaged by both of you walking down the street. The voice of Anne could be worked on, but I did think that your smile was wonderful.
As America's Next Top Model entered its later seasons, many viewers felt the show was going downhill. Enter Andre Leon Talley, whose high fashion background, sparkling personality, and memorable quirks gave the series a much-needed breath of fresh air. He knew what he was talking about, and had no qualms about being direct with the girls. But it never felt like he was out to critique the girls just for the sake of being mean. His comments always seemed to come from a place of sincerity, like he was genuinely trying to help the models improve.
I find Krista would be a more international model. Krista, to me, represents not just high fashion. She has the ability to evoke sophistication.
Number 2. Tyra Banks.
Oh my God.
Where would the show be without Tyra? Although her past actions on the show have stirred up controversy recently for good reason,
Today you guys are gonna learn about acting! Learn about acting!
she's been with America's Next Top Model since the beginning. And arguably, it just wouldn't have been the same without her.
Most modeling is kind of acting like a hoe but making it fashion. Hoe, but then make it fashion. Hoe, make it fashion.
She was one of the original supermodels, and her credentials speak for themselves. So it's no wonder she was well equipped to cultivate the next great model.
You're choking. And I don't want you to walk out of here and say, oh, it's hard and I couldn't do it. You have to take responsibility and say, no, I just choked.
Sometimes her ego and flair for the dramatics got in the way, but there's no doubt she knows what it takes to be on top.
I have never in my life yelled at a girl like this. When my mother yells at this, it's because she loves me. I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. How dare you?
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Jay Alexander. Most of the judges on the show were either hypercritical or too bland and easygoing, but Miss J was the perfect mix of the two.
I love her style.
Yes.
I do. I love she's always snatched when she comes in here to judge it.
With an extensive background in the field, Miss J was truly the runway master and always had something to say about the girls.
I'm not sold on Allison yet. I think her body's lopsided from too much Pilates.
He knew when to be serious and when to turn on the charm. He never shied away from poking fun, but it was always lighthearted and never rude.
Oh, yes. And she just had one drink too many. Let's go.
At the end of the day, Miss J knew how to push the girls to reach their full potential, and did it all while being an utterly fabulous comedic icon.
It's in-your-face beauty. I think a little extra oomph from somewhere inside.
Do you agree with our picks? Let us know in the comments. And hey, if you're a fan of the song playing right now, be sure to check out the music video for it right here.